we want to talk about your thing. And before we get into the details, for those who are joining us for the first time, that is District Attorney in Richmond County, which I think includes Staten Island, New
In Staten
York.
Island. Staten Island is Richmond County.
Right. That his name is Mike McMahon. He's a scaredy cat. I can't describe him any other way. He signed up for your Substack and then claimed that one of the emails he received from the Substack he signed up for violated a long-standing protective order that you say you weren't even served for. But even assuming that they overcome that issue, which is an important issue, the idea that he wants an automatic generated Substack to violate some ridiculous protective order. He's co-opted NYPD, including a dirty cop from the Warrants Division named John Wilkinson, to try to pressure and bully you into showing up in New York, not where you live, where you used to live. And the most recent update is that there was a hearing on Friday that you were not noticed or notified of, but you did find it by chance. And so what happened at that hearing?
Well, as you know, I tried to get in, and so did other court watchers and
Including me.
reporters. Mike Volpe tried to get in. Julie Holborn tried to get in as a reporter. Michael
And
Flynn
this is what we
tried to get in.
saw. Hi, Michael. Someone will let you in when the meeting starts, except I don't, according to the meeting never started, I guess,
I
because
got
this is all I saw.
I got from about 30 people, maybe more. Marianne Petrie
Mhm.
from the Family Court Fraud Warrior Project, Dave Weigel, Amy, Doug, all the good people over there, Jill Jones Soderman, and the Financial Child Victims of Family Courts. All these people that understand the courts and how scumbag these courts can be. They wanted to come on and they wanted to be observers and observe the court. Well, I got the link from the court part from Judge Rodriguez's part from his personnel on the Thursday. I gave it to everybody else. It didn't say on it not
And
to.
you can see we're in his virtual courtroom. Well, we're not in. We're waiting in the waiting room for his virtual courtroom, and it never put us in. We were in that waiting room for
He didn't
over
let
an hour.
anybody in. He didn't, and there's two issues
Well,
here.
well, hold on. What's going on? What is this? You
Okay,
don't have
I'm going to tell you
a criminal
what's
case.
happening. I'll tell you what's happening. Now, I'll preface this with this information is already in the hands of the federal government, the federal authorities.
Mhm.
My belief is that if you look on those dates right there, 7/11/2025. Okay,
No, no,
Ray,
but what
I'm
was
going to
going
tell you.
on in
I'm
before
going
you
to
get to
tell you,
that?
Michael.
What was going on in 2020? What is this?
That's called a supplemental criminal information. That's what this docket is. Meaning that when they had me on the fake Facebook case, they realized it was so flimsy because it was First Amendment. They had to go get something else and put it in there to kind of bulk it up. And so they found a client of mine, a former client, who said that I tried to rob him of his money. What happened was when the feds arrested me on December 15th, 2017, there was like money in my escrow account as a lawyer. So this guy had about 50,000 sitting in my escrow account, and I'm in jail. I can't give him the money because I can't go to the bank and sign to give him the money. And so he went to the police and said, Lukeman tried to steal my money. And so they tried
Right.
to make it a grand larceny that I stole over $50,000 of his money. It's sitting in the escrow account. And basically, I was in jail. So if I wasn't in jail, he would have had it that day. And so they tried to make that into a felony. That's in this case, the SCI, supplemental
Okay,
criminal.
but that's 2017. Why would they be holding a hearing for whatever nonsense
I'm
you
going to
just
tell you what
described?
happened now. The SCI requires jurisdiction in the court. And in order to get jurisdiction in the court, you need to get arrested and booked properly. They never arrested and booked me properly because I was in federal custody at the time. Okay, I was
Mhm.
in Allenwood in 2020, right? And that's the middle of COVID. And when they were still doing transfers of people, they could have transferred me from the federal system into New York State, run me through the system, fingerprinted me, booked me, arraigned me, done everything they needed to for the SCI. They didn't. They didn't bring me back to New York. So this SCI is what's called jurisdictionally defective for subject matter jurisdiction. It's what's called a mode of proceeding error. It's like it never happened. So their choice is now to go back and rebook me, rearrest me on this case. But it's a 5-year statute of limitations. So the conduct is from 2017 and before. They're shit out of luck right now. They cannot do this. Case is over. So what I think happened was Ray Rodriguez is the judge. He comes and he sees the file, and this is Eric Nelson, the one who was the crooked special prosecutor, Eric Nelson from Staten Island. He called in Eric Nelson on 7-Eleven, and Rodriguez was a prosecutor. He was a district attorney for 10 years, assistant district attorney, and then for 10 years he was a pretty good criminal defense attorney. I'll give him his credit. He was a good criminal defense attorney. Then he went to lower criminal court in about 2014, worked his way up, and now he's the administrative judge. He's a good judge, I think, in my opinion, technically. He knows what's going on. Some of these other people are fucking brain dead. He knows what's going on. But he saw this case as a problem for himself because he's an administrative judge and he's running for re-election this year. It's the Luthman case. They spent $1 million on Mike McMahon's vanity prosecution of Richard Luthman on Staten Island. And without that fingerprint card, I think Rodriguez believed, oh shit, this whole thing could go away. We'd have to dismiss the whole thing. So if this FCI goes away, the whole plea, since it's based on something that's jurisdictionally no good, the whole plea goes back to ground zero. And then the case that I have against with McMahon and Castorino, where I get to cross-examine them for the Facebook case, goes back to pre-trial. I'm ready to go to trial. Judge, I want trial. Bring me to trial. When am I going to trial? I have 3 years of jail credit. So you think I'm going to get 3 years for making fake Facebook pages? I have a free shot at these people, putting them on the bench, cross-examining them, and making them admit to their perjury. They will be walked out of there in cuffs. And the feds already have all this now. The feds know exactly what went on. So you were there, Mike. You weren't let in. On there, it's later that day, decision reserved, right? I put in a 27-page motion detailing all of this on the docket. The feds have it already. They have the papers. And Rodriguez was going to hear an oral argument on this on Thursday. By Friday, he was told, I believe, that you can't have an oral argument. Just bury this thing. Take it off the docket. They didn't get rid of my case.
And that's what happened on Saturday when I went to look. What you're seeing, I clicked on Thursday and Friday. You click a link, you get this that included this reserved decision. By Saturday, you click the same link, and suddenly it's all gone. So now the entire case has disappeared.
And it's not gone, Mike. It's not gone. I still have the felonies. Like, they have to get rid of these felonies. Like, how can you make this disappear? There's no e-filing system. And so what they were trying to do, Mike, and this is how it connects to the new case. It connects to the new case. They were trying to get me to New York with Wilkinson, the warrant squad, because they were trying to fingerprint me for a new case and fingerprint me twice. And an old fingerprint card, or the new fingerprint card, goes in the old file to make that case not go away. Oh, we fingerprinted him. Here's the card. And it's regular manila fingerprint card.
I think they try to do a head fake. Wilkinson told one of your lawyers with the victim who it is, I get whatever I want. He said that you need to come in or they will go and get the feds to bring you in. That was well over 2 weeks ago. Nothing has happened since except that this phone conversation, which was recorded, has been leaked and released. And now they're
New York Police Department, Internal Affairs Bureau has given a number on this. They're investigating this. Okay.
Right. And NYPD had an iCard, which is an internal thing that cops use to tell other cops to detain someone. No judge has looked at it that we know of. That's why initially when you found this, you initially wrote an article that it was bogus because there's no warrant. And that's because there is no warrant. There is something internally for NYPD that only other NYPD cops use, which is completely useless for someone outside of not only the city of New York, but the state of New York. So you wonder why they got an iCard for someone they knew lives in Florida. I think it was a tool of intimidation. You weren't intimidated. You flipped the script, if you will. And Rico. Now this is a major scandal. This could bring down this guy.
This is Rico. What they were trying to do is get this thing into, because they have $1 million that they spent to prosecute me on the fake Facebook. That all goes away now. I have the feds looking at this. The second they try to sign a warrant to come get me with the U.S. Marshals or the Florida authorities, they solidified federal jurisdiction. Okay, the second they cross state lines, you have a federal problem here because of the RICO. Any judge that would sign a warrant for this, for me, a felony warrant on these facts, is either incompetent or on the take. Either way, they have to be impeached. Okay, so it's out of control.
We don't know that any judge has signed anything. I think that I think that these NYPD, the squad, And listen, next week, hopefully, we're going to have you and Marta on a special broadcast. She's
Right.
dealing with the same Marta Bryceland, who I recently interviewed with her boyfriend. She's dealing with the same issue, this iCard being misused with the same squad, the Warren squad out of Staten Island. This, I don't think it's going to be quite the scandal that Serpico busted or the mafia cops, but we got to wonder how dirty that Warren squad in Staten Island is. If we found two so far, and they're constantly misusing this iCard, and I don't know exactly what they're doing, but this iCard is useless except that this guy Wilkinson mentioned it to your lawyer and try to make it seem like
You can arrest
it,
on site. If I'm in New York
right,
City, they can arrest me on site and they can book me and fingerprint me.
in New
And that's what
York
they want to do.
City.
And now
But
here's the other point. Here's the other point. Staten Island is a bed of corruption, and I have promised to the world that I'm going to screen the corruption from the mountaintop. So Mike McMahon, anybody who gets named after this can thank Mike McMahon. I'm going to start going after the judges. I'm going to start going after the politicians, and I'm starting with an important case. Okay, and this case that I'm talking about is the case of Victor Abraham. Victor Abraham was somebody that was wrongfully charged, and the cops actually had misconduct there. They had a witness identification. The victim identified somebody else. That was never part of the file, never disclosed under Brady, and the DA, who actually happens to be Michael Tannousis, who is now the GOP leader. He's the leader of the GOP. He was Mike McMahon's underling, and now he's made the GOP party leader. It is corruption as Michael Tannousis, the GOP leader, the underling of Mike McMahon in the DA's office in the Victor Abraham case. So I'm going to be doing a full expose on that. That's number one. Now, beyond that, I have cases where I have Castorina, and everybody knows about him, but there's going to be other attorneys who I have on tape saying things, talking about the administrative judge, talking about other judges, talking about all sorts of things. These tapes I've had, and they're going to be released. So Staten Island, look out. Mike McMahon just screwed everybody because Mike McMahon has this vendetta against me for 10 years. He can't let it go. Okay, he's got a hard-on for me. I would let it go. I would let it go in a heartbeat if these people would be smart. But you're not smart. You're tough, and you're stupid. And I'm going to put you where you need to be.
All right, we'll see. I think this is going to turn into a massive scandal for McMahon. He way overplayed his hand with this thing, and it has turned around on him. All right,